Natty Ice. Nicola Voltra.
Tim's. Pabst Blue Rib Tim's.
Welcome back to Odds of War, guys. This is Matt. That's Tim.
Hey.
This is Nick.
Yeah, and today we are talking Sisters of Battle. Ooh, the Adepta Sororitas. The Bolter.
Pi Kappa Delta.
Start it over.
But we got the Kill Team Manual. It's been out for a little bit. We got
Thank you, GW.
it. Like we paid for it.
Thank you for the opportunity to pay for this book.
God. Yeah.
Several weeks after
release. And so, also, as far as a timely note, the as right now, as of filming, they're on pre-order, all the boxes and kits, and right after they actually release for sale, then that's when this video will be going up. So it'll be striking while the iron is hot. That's a little Forge humor for a separate conversation.
I'm glad we could clean you guys in on that.
Yeah. So we're going to do the same thing that we've done with our previous faction focus videos, and we're just going to talk about them and sort of get our thoughts and maybe let you guys know what we think is good, bad, otherwise.
We're definitely going to let you know what we think.
Yeah. Now,
that's almost the point of this video.
Well, you guys are.
Yeah. Before we get any further in this video, of course, if you want to see these videos every week in your feed, please hit that subscribe button and hit the like button and let us know in the comments what rules we messed up.
What do we do to that like button?
Am I right?
What do we do to that like button?
Smash it.
I can't put it up. Yes. I can't. No.
Smash that like button.
Just as a clarification, Nick and myself have gone over the rules. We've already actually discussed what we think. We're on the same page when we get to
Spoiler
that part of thing. An interesting part of the video here is actually Tim has not even looked at the rules a single time.
Yeah.
Tim is essentially you guys. Maybe.
Yeah.
Not to say you haven't looked
worse.
at it, but
so
here's a learning opportunity to see what you can avoid.
I'm useless.
Yeah. No. No. But it'll be interesting because we'll capture your actual first thoughts on what you see as good here and what is not. Okay.
Get ready for all of these moments. And the classic.
Is it done?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's just get right into it. Starting off, we're just going to go through the units, then we'll hit tactics, then we'll hit assorted other things, and then finally our sort of thoughts and maybe what you want to build into a kill team, which of course I'm going to throw up a couple sample lists down in the description below. Not really any rosters or anything. Yeah, just a couple lists of things you might want to do.
First off, I know because in the other videos we've done this too. What's kind of the general
stat line
play of the army?
Yeah.
What are they? What's their deal?
Yeah, you're right. Let's start there. Let's start. What's the lore? Right, where do they fit in the
lore?
And
the
Adeptus, the Adepta Sororitas, they are part of the Ministorum branch, the ecclesiarchy of the Imperium. So they're basically battle nuns. They are they're the truly faithful to the Emperor. They actually believe he's a god, and
they believe in saints.
They have saints,
a religious backbone.
Yeah, and they have a religious zeal to it as well. So basically take the Catholic Church in the Crusades era, and that's the Battle Sisters, except it's all nuns.
Yeah.
And if you grew up in a Catholic school and you had nuns
during the Crusades era,
beat your hands
during the Crusades era
with a ruler, this is very similar to that.
This is them.
So.
And so they go out to, of course, classic purge the heretic, the unclean, the mutant, all that sort of stuff. But it doesn't come from a here's my duty from the Lords of Terra or whatever. It's here's the calling.
What are you trying to say?
But here's the calling from the God Emperor himself.
Yeah.
And when they do their deeds, they're renowned for miracles and all this stuff.
So what you're saying is they're just totally 100% unequivocally wrong, because the God Emperor himself referred to abolish all that religious talk.
Oh, absolutely.
So they went the full extreme religiosity, which is now a word. Might already.
So I think it's a word.
Religiosity.
It's probably already a
I'll
word.
allow it.
Religiosity.
Religiosity. And
Tell us the correct pronunciation in the comments.
Yep.
We had a stirring discussion about Kamara.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if you guys have actually looked back at any of those comments. Like, people were weighing in. People
Really?
were like, it's Kamara, it's Kamora.
So let us know.
Yeah.
In the fluff of it, then, they are the religious zealots to an extreme, because even the normal Astartes have a religious fervor to it, in the sense of, like, blessing the bolter.
Yes.
You must, there's rituals
Right,
to things.
there's
but they've taken
incantations.
it to literal, church-like religious attitude
Well, actually,
to the battlefield.
as far as that goes, they've actually canonized, which is making saints.
Like a canoness.
Of all the Primarchs.
Oh.
They actually believe the
really?
Primarchs are saints,
Even
and then the Primarchs themselves, of course, would be like, no, wrong. We're not. Don't do this.
Have they encountered Gilliman yet?
From my understanding, yes, because Gilliman and Celestine have fought together. But that's not to necessarily say that they've like sat down and like had a theological discussion about.
Wasn't there a famous Primarch who kind of treated the Emperor
he
like,
was,
like a god, and then
that's,
got completely
in chaos
destroyed?
Yeah,
Was it Lorgar? The word bearer?
The word bearer.
bearers?
I think so.
Yeah. So why do the sisters exist?
Huh?
So the sisters exist because
They happened after.
after the emperor was they
Yeah.
formed after the emperor was
Classic.
on the golden throne. He could no longer guide the Imperium and all that, and then they came into be because people were like, "Hey, worship the emperor." There you go.
Fair.
Cool.
So that's them. As far as from my looking through the rules, like what they are, they're a very mid-range army.
Shooty.
Yeah, they're shooty.
But they've got some combat stuff.
They do have some combat stuff, and actually, which we'll get into when we hit on it, you can make a decent combat
there's
team out of them. They got some stuff that's nothing to be sneezed at.
Yeah.
No, and it may not be a very varied list, but it can certainly
it can do the work.
Beat down with the best of them.
Yeah, and but like I said, they're mid board. They're not long range. They're heavy on shooting, but they can flex into melee, and their power armor. Wielding people, so they're 3-up save as sort of standard for the battle.
One
sister.
wound though, pretty
One
much.
wound, toughness 3,
Yeah.
which again, so the stat line will be here. We'll just go through it. 6-inch move, 4-up weapon skill, 3-up ballistic skill, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, 1 attack, leadership 7, 3-up save, and then
4-up ballistic skill.
In my
4-up weapon skill
or weapon skill. Yeah,
4-up
that's
weapon skill,
interesting.
3-up ballistic skill. So they
don't really want to fight.
They are somewhere. They're dedicated melee stuff. We'll touch on.
Yeah.
They are somewhere in between a guardsman and a marine.
I think they are, and I was thinking about this before. I didn't mention it, but they fill that role of the scouts from the Adeptus Astartes, in that they are still, they're cheap marine-like units with some of the numbers shuffled around. Because I think scouts have a 4-up save.
Yeah, scouts have a 4-up save, but they're T4.
T4 versus T3 with a 3-up save. So there's middling similarities in their stat line, but they are cheap bolter access.
Yeah.
Like
definitely.
You will have more sisters on the table than you will the average marine player.
Right.
But you will have less bodies on the table than the average guard player.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So,
definitely.
Good.
Just to hit on it really quick while we're on the battle sister. They've done a really weird thing here where in Kill Team Annual they've split up like points and stuff. So Adeptus Sororitas, a battle sister is 9 points, a battle sister gunner is 10 points, and a sister superior is 10 points.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a 9-point investment for a toughness 3 model with a 3-up save.
And the superior gets an extra attack and extra
and
leadership.
superior is your standard standard sergeant going to leadership 8 with 2 attacks. Everything else is the same. And of course you're limited to 1. Battle sister gunner, by the way, that's of course like many other kill teams, they get to wield the special weapons. Same stats as a normal battle sister, a maximum of 2 in the kill team for gunners, which is really important. That's our first point. Battle sisters, they can take a lot of special weapons. They can take, let's see, flamer, melt-a-gun, storm bolter, heavy flamer. That's all their options for gunners. And then a sister superior can take combi flamer, combi melta, combi plasma, condemner bolt gun, chainsword, power sword.
The contemptor is really cool, and we're going to get to that probably a little bit after. I'm curious because a typical limiting factor of Marines who also have that similar, you can take a gunner version of this. I think
Right.
most of the factions have that, but
Yeah.
they're limited to having one heavy weapon as a gunner and one special weapon as the other gunner. You can't take two heavy weapons, can't take two special weapons. How do they differentiate? I'm assuming it's
This
actually
is
by the type.
there is actually no differentiation
all
for the
special
Battle
weapons.
Sister gunner. It's just they can take flamer, melta,
Oh,
storm
okay.
bolter,
Wow.
heavy bolter, heavy
So
flamer.
that opens up a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, so you can take
because
2 heavy flamers, you
Yeah.
can take 2 melta guns.
That's pretty cool.
That's actually
Yeah.
very flexible.
Yeah,
because that is kind of the hiccup.
But again, limited to 2. So if you go
Well,
to
the
melta
Marine-
guns,
the Marines are
That's it.
limited to 2
Yeah.
as well. So I guess unless you take scouts, which can then supplement that with their own, because they're
Yeah.
also limited by 2, so you can have 4. So it's a mixed max.
yeah. Now
mixed
and
max?
then,
a
but
mixed
then
max.
that's where you can flex into a third position because your sister superior, your sergeant,
Take that
can
combi.
take a
Melta,
combi
yeah.
flamer,
Yeah.
combi melta,
Or,
combi
yeah,
plasma.
whatever, flamer.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you can flex out there. So you can realistically get 3 heavy hitting
Right.
special weapons in there.
But what is the glaring omission out of those special weapons?
The glaring omission?
Yeah.
I don't
Starts
know.
with-
Why don't
Starts
you
with
tell
a
us?
P and ends with lasma.
Oh, plasma. Well, you can take a combi plasma for the sister superior,
Right.
but
we were talking about the sisters don't really mess with plasma. That's
Yeah,
not
they're
really
not
their
really
bag,
plasma, yeah.
right?
Which
They-
is funny because
they're
they do
heavy
want
on
to
the melta.
sacrifice themselves.
Yeah.
And I can't think
They
of a
can,
more
yeah, they can want
badass
that.
way to just like
Then
be
to-
like,
Well, see, I think the problem is that they're like, well, if I sacrifice myself, it has to be for a reason, and that reason can't be I just held the trigger too long. I did.
too long.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops, all plasma.
yeah, and that's
all
and that's
plasma.
and that's Saint Plasma.
Yeah.
That's how you got that.
Yeah.
Um,
Because then you miss and you look bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you look real bad.
But it is a relevant point because as you've seen from many of the battle reports that have been on the channel, when plasma
Plasma is
has
strong.
made a scene, it is, I mean, it wrecks.
Oh, yeah.
Rapid fire 2 damage. You could potentially take out 2 models in a turn. You could guarantee a single kill. It's
Yeah.
pretty devastating.
yeah, it can be backbreaking when the plasma connects on the overcharge, lands it, takes you do a lot with that.
Can the superior take like a chainsword or anything?
Yeah,
like
so the
that, you said?
superior standard has a they can take the combi flamer, combi melta, combi
Right.
plas, condemner bolt gun, chain sword, or power sword.
Okay, right.
They they may replace their bolt pistol with a plasma pistol.
Okay.
Okay, and then if they did not replace their bolt gun, because they would come standard with a bolt gun, then they may take a chain sword and power sword. So for a sister
Nice.
superior, if you want to keep them cheap, you can get a bolt gun, a
Chainsword.
a plasma pistol, and a chain sword or power sword, all on your leader model there. So your sister superior is a
flexible.
real
Well,
linchpin.
it's very General Grievous, right? You just got 4 arms,
Yeah.
kind of like,
Yeah. And now obviously,
General
as
Kenobi.
far as specialists go, the superior can be a leader, a gunner can be a heavy, and then outside of that, you've got comms, demolitions, medic, sniper, veteran, and zealot.
So I want to double back because I made that joke about the 4-armed. Are you saying
Yeah.
you can take 4 weapons on the?
You could take 3 weapons. You could take a bolt gun, a pistol. So this model is armed with a bolt gun, bolt pistol, frag grenade, crack grenade. Okay, and that's
Right.
standard. Then a sister superior can replace their bolt gun with bolt pistol, combi flamer, combi melta, combi plas, condemner bolt gun.
So you could have 2 pistols,
You could have 2 pistols. Yes,
which means you get to fire
you could do
twice
plasma and
in combat
yeah.
at 2 different targets.
Because you only get to fire one pistol, right?
No. You can fire pistol in lieu of any other gun type. So if you have multiple pistols, you can
Pistols. Oh,
fire
yeah, 'cause
multiple pistols.
There was
Yeah.
for a period of time Tau you could kit out a dude with 2 plasma pistols.
Yeah.
Or not
Okay.
plasma, but
Yeah.
pulse pistols.
Yeah.
And it was neat looking but not effective.
Yeah, and so so you could do a double bolt pistol if you really wanted to, or you could do a bolt pistol, plasma pistol. But
That is
the
pretty
key
interesting.
to getting the most bang for your buck, if you don't want to go the heavy weapon route, is to not replace the bolt gun. Because then you have the bolt gun, then you can take a plasma pistol,
Right.
then you can get a chain sword or power sword. So
you-
your
you can access-
superior can be
yeah.
super all rounded.
The full gambit.
Yeah,
So
gamut.
Gamut.
Yeah.
So the sister superior, is that the only option they have for leader, or they have other?
No, you can also get a leader in Repentia, which we'll get to.
Okay.
But that's it. So
That's
it's
it.
leader
Okay.
or Repentia.
Gotcha.
So let's talk about that contemptor.
Condemner. Condemner bolt gun. Yeah.
bolt
So
gun.
Oh, yeah. What is
yeah,
that?
a condemner bolt gun is actually pretty interesting. So a condemner bolt gun is rapid fire 1, 24-inch range, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1.
So a bolter.
Yeah, bolter. But it has a special rule. When resolving an attack made with this weapon against a psyker, which, of course, as we know in Kill Team, there's not a ton of psychers, but against something like 1,000 Suns or Grey Knights or Demons, where you have a lot of psychers. Grey Knights, every model's a psyker.
Every model's a psyker.
1,000 Suns, you're going to have at least one sorcerer, if not two. And Demons, like if you're taking horrors, every horror's a psyker, yada, yada, yada. This weapon has a damage characteristic of D3.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, and that's rapid fire.
Yep,
So if
rapid
you connect
fire,
with
so you
both, that's 2d3,
2d3
potential damage. So it's a nice clutch pick for when, because again, you have a roster.
Yep.
There's not many models for the sisters at the moment.
No.
So to fill out a roster is not going to be hard. In fact, it's if you watched our Drukari tactics video, we talked about if you're going mono faction, you're actually going to be want for choice because there's you could fill out the entire roster with every single iteration of loadout and still have points left over. I feel like sisters might be similar to that.
Yes.
You might cut it close. You might get right at the border.
Yeah.
But there's nothing saying you shouldn't take
two superiors, one with one loadout, or maybe 3 or 4 superiors,
and
so you can really flex the loadout.
Exactly.
But one of them ought to be
One
a
with
Condemner
that.
bolt gun. Yeah,
for that
when
random
you-
psychic matchup because 1,000 Suns are very strong.
They are.
Demons, we haven't seen on the channel.
We haven't seen on the channel.
But
I've seen and
watched.
heard good things.
Yeah.
And Grey Knights also same thing.
Soon.
Yeah.
My thing, well, yeah. I mean, I guess it's okay. I think, for Grey Knights and 1,000 Suns, it's like, all right, there's like, it's still a bolter profile, so you still got to hit on 3s, you still got to wound on 4s.
Yes.
And then you have no AP, so they got to make an armor save, and then you do D3 damage.
But I mean, they must make that armor
How
save.
much is that special bolter?
Condemner
3 or
bolt
5 point
gun
upgrade.
is... It's 2
2
points.
Nice.
Okay.
And then if it's on a Canoness, which is a
That's what it was.
which is a
HQ.
commander. Thank you, is a 5 points.
Okay.
So
Yeah, 2 is... I'd buy it for 2. I wouldn't buy it
Well,
for more
two
than that.
can fill that nice little, I finished my list and I got a couple points hanging out. It's chalking a condemner bolter.
it's not bad.
Condemned Dreadnought.
So everyone
Just
knows.
a little
Let's just
cheeky Contemptor
let's
Dread.
just hit everything really quick. Everybody knows a flamer. Everyone knows flamer. D6 auto hits, 8-inch range. Yeah. Meltagun. Let's talk about a Meltagun really quick.
Yeah,
right?
so-
Some kill teams have Meltas. Here, this is it for the sisters. This is your big weapon is the Meltagun, right? So 12-inch range, so short range. You got to
Assault
get in
1.
there. Assault 1, strength 8, AP -4, damage D6, and then it has the Melta rule where if you're within half range, you roll 2d6 and discard one of the results, which of course
Now-
you'll always discard the lowest unless you're fighting Necrons, in which you'll discard the highest.
Yes.
Yeah.
as you may have learned from a recent video. Now Melta, and if you follow kill team forums and stuff like that regarding it, Melta you don't see very often, and I think it's because it's in that weird niche of being too short range to be effective.
Yeah, you have to
12
be really close.
12 inches requires you to be within 6 to both get the benefit of the Melta and not have any penalties for being at long range, and that can be a bit backbreaking in a.
Yes.
I mean, because 12 inches is a very nice range if that's your half range. That's doable. You're going to find many times where, like, due to positioning or due to objectives, which are usually, was like at least 6 inches apart from each other. Is it 12?
I mean,
Usually 12.
it depends on the mission. It's mission dependent.
But
yeah.
12 inches is kind of that middle ground of niceness. 6, you really got to get up in their faces for it.
Yeah.
And usually by that point, that model might be a sacrificial.
A sacrificial play.
Yeah.
Or you are using it as a counter charge
Yeah.
threat, and so like something has come up into your grill and it will die now for its
sure.
trouble.
So like prime example, a combat Tyranid warrior, specialist rolls in on you.
Yeah, it does
Right.
not want to meet that Melta.
If that Melta is sitting behind those chargeable units, that's not going to be a happy situation for that warrior when
No.
those two guys fall back and you now melt it straight to the face.
Yeah.
So it is a great deterrent, and I
Yeah.
think that's what people miss when they look at the choice between plasma or Melta, because they're always going to be like, well, plasma is always better because it has the range, and it's a deterrent.
Yeah.
But really,
and damage
nothing,
2 is usually
it's enough to kill.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Enough to get an out of action. But if you roll a 4, I mean, even a 3.
That's
a 3
spicy.
a 3 to 6 on the Melta roll,
Mm-hmm.
which if you're in Melta range is highly possible
Oh, yeah.
for damage, is almost certainly a guaranteed out of action unless you're a certain person at the
Well,
table.
and not to mention the thing is
Damn.
the thing is let's like be really clear about the Meltagun versus a plasma. A Meltagun takes much more finesse and much more like right positioning and getting it to go off than a plasma gun does, because the plasma has the longer range and has the more reliable output, right? But the Melta, you got to get in close, especially if you want that Melta rule. So you got to be in there, but you're doing it, in this case, on a toughness 3 model.
Yeah.
Right, and there's nothing saying you can't take something that would help you get closer, right? They can take
Absolutely,
veterans, I believe.
yeah,
They can take,
you can take a veteran, so you could take a
Scout
Meltagun.
is even a quick move guy.
Yeah, you
so-
could take I don't think they don't have scout.
no scout.
No scout. But yeah, so you could take a veteran, or you could do the take forward positions in the scouting phase,
Or you
or
just-
combine both, and then
just-
suddenly you're right up in their face, and you just ready your Meltagun.
A decisive move.
Yeah, you can decisive. So you can do a lot of tricks to get it up, but the point is, you got to get up there.
Yeah. I personally have never liked Meltaguns in 40K or like Kill Team. Like it has like the one shot syndrome, which like I hate.
Yeah,
And like it's always going to make you feel bad. It'll always just treat you like crap. All right, don't let them do that to you.
Until
You're
that-
better than that. all
Until
right?
that one time, that one time it hits wounds and you roll 6, and you're like,
see,
Meltas are the best.
Yeah, but and then
You've been spoiled with Dark Lances.
maybe that's the thing. But at the same, that's still one shot. And I've the other thing too is with the range, like we talked about. Most of the things I've seen in Kill Team that are multi-wound are things that want to punch you. So when you're getting danger close enough anyway to the fact that, all right, I'm going to do a bunch of wounds to this, maybe I'm just speaking because of confirmation bias, but Custode or Grotesque or Terminator variant, that would be happy just to, jump right in your face. Then
something that has an invuln too.
right, exactly. It's like, oh, I missed,
poop on your
or I
Melta.
didn't wound you. Okay, well, I'm dead. And then that's how much is a Meltagun?
Meltagun is 3 points. Yeah,
Nice.
3 points. So you're
So there's
a sister.
13 points.
Yeah, 12 points.
12. They're 9
Oh no,
points.
no,
For
you're
a
right.
gunner,
13,
right?
yeah,
Oh, a
10
gunner
points
is
for a
10.
gunner.
So there's
and then 13 point
So-
model, which is, now you're starting to get into like.
Well,
ooh,
you're also. So what is the?
I would take the flamers all
And-
day. I would take 2 with flamers all day. And
Well, there's heavy flamers you have access to as well.
That's true.
that's
and a
what I'm
heavy
saying. That's
flame-
what I'm saying. I would take 2 with
Okay.
the. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
2 with
two
the
heavy
heavy
Yeah,
flamers.
because a normal
take that all
flamer,
day.
and again, guys, a roster is where this is key, right? Like you have all these nice options with a roster. When you're coming to the table, you can look at your opponent's roster and basically be like, okay, what would apply best here? So having that wide array of stuff, and they definitely do. They have a wide array of special weapons that can be anything from multi-auto hitting AP-1 to or dirt cheap AP-0 auto hitting. All the way up to a Melta, which is the exact opposite profile, right? So there's a good selection here. I don't think it's as fluid as the Marines, in that the Marines obviously have missile launchers, plasma, grav. They have all these different things to fill
tools.
every single niche of damage and wounding and profile types. But the sisters have that cheap model, which is what makes up for that.
Yeah,
so
they can actually, if you were to take
Yeah.
just nothing but Bolter sisters, you could really flood the board.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, we'd be remiss not to talk about the Storm Bolter really quick. Storm Bolter,
Do love me a Storm Bolter.
you can get, again,
1
you
point.
got to have to have a gunner to get a Storm Bolter. So you could take up to 2 Storm Bolters, okay? Storm Bolter is 2 points. Yep.
Oh, 2
so
points.
you're talking about an 11 point, 12 point,
Now-
because it's got to be a gunner.
I'm not big on that being 2 points.
I don't think it's bad at 2.
It's not bad, but I felt like that should probably be a 1 point upgrade,
Yeah, probably.
because it's not now. There's a tactic that makes it. 2
Yeah, so
points
just really
in
quick,
value.
Storm Bolter, 24-inch, rapid fire 2, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1.
4 shots
So
at
you
12.
get into 12-inch, you get 4 shots, and if you make the gunner with the Storm Bolter a heavy, now it can be 5 shots with the tactic.
Oh, I didn't even
That's
think
pretty
about
cool.
that.
Yeah.
Wait. Does that not have to
Or
be
would
a
it
heavy
be?
weapon?
Would it make it rapid fire 3?
That's no. I think it's
Or does
just
it-
one.
It adds
it's
an
add
additional
one
shot,
to
is
it
what it
adds an
says.
additional shot.
If it's a multi-shot weapon, you
as
add
long
an
as it's
additional
not
shot.
as long as it's not a weapon that is just one shot.
Is that tactic in here? Do they have that?
No, not in.
Because I'd be
here.
curious. I mean, because assault and heavy profile guns, it makes sense because it'll be heavy
Yeah.
2 or assault
Yeah.
2. But I wonder how that works with rapid fire.
Yeah, I'm
Two, if-
almost positive it's
just
just
one extra
adding
shot.
one extra shot.
That's
It's not
still pretty
making
great,
it-
though,
Yeah,
for-
I'm pretty sure it doesn't make it rapid fire 3.
I might question that. Not for either option, but I don't even know if you could use it for that.
Well, because the
Doesn't it specify
restriction.
assault or heavy weapon.
No, it's just the
No,
heavy
it's
class.
just the heavy class when
And
you're
then it's
shooting
their
when
thing.
you're shooting a gun with them. You just add 1 to the shots.
If it's got more than one
If it-
shot.
yeah, as long as it has
yeah.
more than one shot to begin with. Yeah.
Right.
And we're going to talk more in depth about tactics and stuff later on. But special Adeptus Sororitas tactic, you got to mention it with the Stormbolter
You have
because it's
to, 'cause
for
it-
the Stormbolter.
Yeah.
2 command points. So this is like your trick for the round,
Mm-hmm.
unless you've squirreled away some. Use this tactic when you pick an Adeptus Sororitas model from your kill team to shoot with a Stormbolter. Change the armor penetration characteristic of that model Stormbolter to -2
Ooh, nice.
and the damage characteristic to 2 until the end of the battle round. So now,
I like that.
Yeah. So suddenly you've got a rapid fire. You're going to do this when you're in 12 inches.
Yeah.
And you're
Of
going to do
course.
a rapid fire 4. So 4 shots at strength 4, AP -2, damage 2.
So hear me out.
That's nice.
Hear me
That's
out.
nice.
That's
Now,
really
when you
nice.
need something dead,
Hear me
blessed bolts.
out. Now you may
needs
want
plasma?
you may want to stack
Yeah.
that exactly. You may want to stack that on a multi-wound important target, and you're totally right in doing so. Like if you see that leader and it's
Yeah.
within that 12-inch range, and you know it can't make that many saves, tack on that heavy if you have
Yeah.
the 3rd CP. But think about it this also.
5 shots.
You're playing
strength
against
4, AP -2,
Tyranids, Gene Stealer Colts, Guard, and they like to blob up a bunch of dudes next to each other.
can
You
start
might get
splitting them
lucky
out.
and find that leader guardsman, the officer, next to 3 other guardsmen. You got 4 shots. They're T3 models. Get cheeky.
Play the numbers.
Play the numbers. 1 per each.
That's my least favorite thing to do.
2
in Kill
damage.
Team. It never
2 damage
works.
per model. That's potentially 4 out of actions. Will it happen? Probably
No,
not.
Never.
Can it happen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if it does,
That'll
If-
happen, and your Melta's going to go
Yeah.
insane. They're going to ignore it the whole game. It's
If-
going to roll 6
if-
for its damage.
Remember,
every
if it-
single time.
If it does happen, you can put a like on the video below.
Oh, boy.
You're playing against someone with no eyes, and they let you do all these tricks against you, and it's incredible.
Hey.
So that's the Stormbolter. There you go.
That's good.
Stormbolter.
It's
I
good.
mean,
I
blessed
like-
bolts.
I like it.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, that's what I think is interesting. Is like, it's hard to say, I'll take 2 heavy flamers all day, or I'll take 2
wait.
Melta-guns.
Well, that was
all day.
before I knew about that.
Yeah,
Now,
when
wait
you're
a-
sitting, you're like, but you have, and that's the thing, you can only take the Stormbolter on a Battle Sister gunner, and so I feel like almost every team needs a Stormbolter Battle Sister.
I think it's worth the choice.
yeah,
Because
But
it's effectively it's effectively for 2 points,
2 command points.
adding
yeah.
another battle sister in terms of firepower too. If you look
yeah,
at it that way.
yeah.
Yeah. Now,
I like
quick
it.
question, and it may or may not relate to what we're talking about, but obviously Grey Knights are jam-packed with Stormbolters. That's their whole
Yes.
thing. Do they get a sim? I know
Do they get
Astral Aim,
something?
which
That is an
increases,
excellent.
And I'm wondering if it's
question.
worth, because I'm pretty sure all Grey Knight strats that are worthwhile are 2 CP, which is a total shame. Please fix.
Don't Grey
GW.
Knights have the Stormbolter strat too that make them like
they have something, but I don't think it
strength
does
5
2
AP.
damage.
No, it's like strength
And
5 AP
that's-
-1.
And that's where I'm curious, because that's a bit of a shame that
it bumps the strength though.
that the much more zealous faction with Stormbolters literally built into their arms do not get
Cybolt
something.
ammunition, 1
That's
CP. Use this tactic when you choose a model kill team and you shoot with a Stormbolter. The weapon's strength is 5,
Yeah.
and its AP is -1.
yeah.
But it's 1 CP, so
Yeah,
that's
it's 1
fair.
CP.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
1
all right.
CP
So you
to 2
wound a little
CP.
better.
If it also
Yeah.
cost 2 CP, I would have been upset, because that's a straight upgrade that Sisters got.
Yeah.
Though they are paying the point.
Well, I mean,
increase,
yeah. I
so-
mean, it's different. It's a different investment for a different result. I mean, you know. So that's that.
So that's Battle Sisters.
Yeah, that's Battle Sisters. Just really quick.
Special rules.
While we're talking about Battle Sisters,
yeah.
a lot of these other units we're about to hit are going to have these same special rules. So, Shield of Faith, you get.
You get +2 to your AC. It's a
I'm gonna
bonus action to
basically,
cast. Range 90.
It's crazy.
That's the wrong game.
It's a good game.
That's the wrong game. So Shield of Faith,
AC.
you get 6 up in Vuln. You
These
get
sisters are AC 18. What the heck?
Yeah. That's, how do you get that on a D6?
You don't.
6-up invuln. You get a chance to deny a psychic power with any model with Shield of Faith, but you only roll a single D6.
Yeah.
That's it. That's Shield of Faith.
So-
6-up invuln. You can't ignore that because if someone rolls up with a Dark Lance, you still get a save.
Yeah, let's boil it down real quick, right? So, thinking about what they have there, AdMech get
Bionics.
6-up Bionics.
Yeah.
Yep.
6-up Bionics is essentially that's their special thing on
Yeah.
top of Canticles. So they have that, which is great. Every model gets a save. That's a great thing to have. Orcs actually have to take a tactic to have that.
Yeah, you have to take
Right?
the Death Skulls trait.
So once again, that's one of those things that's just given to you, which is a nice thing. Now the second half of that, while nice because it's just given to you,
it's not going to be super.
It's another thing where you got to roll a 6 here, basically.
Well, this is
But
this,
it is a free rule.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know.
you mathematically they have to roll a 5 on their Cybolt, which is the lowest possible value to succeed, and
Yeah.
you have to roll
And
a
then
6.
you have to roll the 6.
Now-
so it's not going to happen often. When it does, though, it's going to
Yeah.
be impactful.
Oh, it's
That's
gonna-
it's going to be big.
But it
It's
kind
gonna
of
feel
plays
huge.
into the whole like miracle vibe they're going for, where it's like when you get that clutch 6, either for your invuln or for the psychic deny, you're just like,
you're like,
yes.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, the word miracle.
Do they have
Because-
miracle die in this one? Okay, no, they
no,
don't.
they don't have miracle.
And this is
40K.
this is where the unfortunate mishap was. But just to wind back to this rule,
Yeah.
my gripe with it, and I think we shared the same thought process here. It's nice. It's free. It's given to your thing. It might be baked into the points cost in the grand scheme of the model, but overall, you think about how often you might play against an army that has Psykers.
It's got to
Off
be.
that.
It's got to be Grey Knights. It's got to be Thousand Suns.
or
it's gotta be
demons.
demons.
It's one of the three.
Or you're playing commanders with psychic commanders.
Right. And again, at that point, if that's your meta, great. You're getting free access to a potential 6, kind of like the Icon of Flame.
Yeah.
It's just a nice thing you can roll every now and again.
Yep.
But for the majority of your matches, if you're not in that type of meta, you probably will never use this.
Yeah. In
Which is
fact,
a bit
you
of a
might-
shame.
When it finally comes up, you might forget that it's there.
Right. Yeah.
I know I will. That's
Yeah.
what's going to
Oh,
happen with me.
guaranteed.
I'm going to go. Just.
And the first couple matches
Yeah.
will almost certainly be against another Psyker army.
Oh, of course. You know.
Yeah. So
But now, just so the deny is nice. It's not
good.
going to be
It's-
huge.
yeah.
But you know, when it happens, like you said, it's going to feel like a miracle, and you're going to be like, the God Emperor hath blessed
That's
me.
free real estate.
Yeah. But
That's
now,
copyrighted.
quick mention, and this will be the last thing before we get off Battle Sisters.
nope. Grots are next.
A last bit of war gear you can take is a Simulacrum Imperialis. 5-point upgrade.
It's the banner thing.
One Battle Sister can take a Simulacrum. Shield of Faith ability grants a 5-up invuln instead of a 6-up to models from your kill team whilst they were within 6 inches of any friendly models with a Simulacrum. So now your 6-up Shield of Faith save is a 5-up Shield of Faith save. So you're rocking. And again, I think, feel free to disagree, I think the Simulacrum, because it's one of the few special rule war gear buffs you have here, is an auto take. It's 5 points
I
on
agree.
a sister.
Maybe make that your comm specialist too, because you already got to be within range.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta be within, so you're
Things to
layer,
do.
you layer in there, and
I-
then everything. It's like that thing of like where, well, they can keep shooting the Stormbolter sister or the Meltagun sister, or they can try to shoot the Simulacrum sister and then lower the whole team.
Right.
And either way, you're kind of okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're spreading out the threats. And actually, I wanted to ask when you mentioned the comm specialist, is that the requirement to taking comms?
No, there's no requirement for comms here. Some
like the
teams
twist
do
spray
have that. Yeah, they have
and
to
the,
have. They have to
what's
have
another-
certain. They have to have
The
certain
Vox caster on a
things.
guardsman are the
Yeah.
requirements to take the comms specialist.
Right. And
But
this is just
in this-
anyone can be a comms.
Yeah, and that's big because personally, what I think you'd want to do if you're trying to spread out those overall threats, I would make that just a bog standard sister, right?
Yeah, I would as well. Yeah.
That way, it's one more threatening thing, and then that comm specialist is still there, so you can never double out your opponent, right? You're
Yeah.
never getting 2 for 1 by random Joe Blow guardsman
Yeah.
getting lucky with a las gun and taking out both your comm specialist and
Yeah.
your simulacrum.
Yeah. Now, if you do want to be spicy, from my reading of it, you could layer on a Simulacrum on top of a Battle Sister Gunner that has something like a Melta, and then run that
Upward.
up with your melee
sure.
component. So then suddenly it's like, yeah, there's a lot of threat to be like, oh, I got to take out the Simulacrum. But if they're shooting at that one, then they're not shooting at your melee threats that are also running up the board with them.
Are there keyword? Read the ability.
So
again?
yeah,
What's the keyword
one
for-
Battle Sister from your kill team may take a Simulacrum Imperialis.
But what does it affect? What are the keywords for that?
The Shield of Faith ability is bumped from 5 to 6, or
Now-
from 6 to 5.
Now, and we're gonna get to them later. But
Yes.
Do your typical melee choices have shield? of faith?
Rapincia has Shield of Faith.
Does the Arcoflagellant?
Arcoflagellant does not.
Okay, so that's big.
Yeah, but
Because that's
Canoness and Rapincia Superior do. So
maybe
I mean,
not
your
for the melee bubble.
well,
'cause
but
those-
your Sister Superior with a Power Sword or Chainsword can be there. And then you can stack a Sister Rapincia on that, and then you've got and of course you can also do like, I don't know, a Sister with a Flamer, and so you could have a pretty beefy like frontline assault force that just moves up. So again, that mid-rangey thing of being like, you don't want to be afraid to get up in there. In fact, as far as fluff goes, you wouldn't be afraid to get up in there because, of course, your faith in the God Emperor would protect.
But you should remember before you get up in there, every sister only has one attack base. The sergeant has 2 attacks.
Yep.
They are not Primaris.
Yep.
They're not your typical melee boys.
It's true. It's true. They're not amazing. But
I got a
again,
4+ weapon skill. I mean,
but-
what are they doing?
yeah,
Get
again,
out of there. Get out of combat.
You can
What are you doing here?
if you want to get weird and you make a Sister Rapincia your leader, you could make the Sister Superior a Zealot. So now on the charge, she's got 3 attacks because of Zealot, and she's strength 4 with a Power Sword. And then you
not bad.
spend the CP for the Zealot tactic to give yourself exploding 6s.
No.
It's okay.
It's
Yeah,
an option. It's
It's
an
an
option.
option.
It's an
It's
option.
an option. Okay.
Next.
Any other big thoughts about Battle Sisters before we move on?
No, I
They're
think we
good.
should
They're
should go to the next most
They're solid,
important-
yeah.
Okay.
We should go to the next most important model,
Sister Rapincia.
Gretchen.
Sister Rapincia. So Sister Rapincia, before we say anything about them, max 1. I personally think this is a big misstep.
Now, Tim, why do you think that's a big misstep? Remember, you've read this book several times.
Because they're just not that great, man.
Okay. Perfect. So we're gonna go through the stat line and what they have, and then we'll hit on maybe why I think it's a big misstep. Okay. Stat line's up on the screen now. Movement 6, weapon skill 3. Weapon skill 3. Ballistic skill 3. They don't have a gun. Strength 3. Toughness 3. 1 wound. 2 attacks. Leadership 8.
Wait, 2 attacks?
2 attacks.
Yeah.
Leadership 8. Save 7+.
Nice.
They have Shield of Faith though, so they have a
that's-
6-up invuln.
Okay.
Let us
They have
not
a 6-up
forget.
invuln, which then
And 1 wound?
Yeah, 1 wound.
Oh, man.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
1 wound.
Do you remember those incubi that you love a lot in
Yeah.
Drakari?
And
How well do they
again-
do?
Again, they have Shield of Faith, so they can be affected by the Simulacrum, so they can have a 5-up invuln. Okay.
So
they take a Penitent Eviscerator, which the Penitent Eviscerator is a spicy weapon.
That sounds cool.
Before you get there,
Yeah.
how much does this model cost?
Before we get there,
23 points.
Sister Rapincia is 13 models, and a Penitent 13 points per model. 13 models.
13
in one.
model.
Yeah.
We
13
are Legion.
One kill.
We are Legion and we are many. Okay. So it's a 13 model or 13 point per model Rapincia. You can only have 1. So it's 13 points. The Eviscerator, which is the only weapon option for them, is 0 points. So it's a 13 point model. Okay. So it's just
So
as
I'm comparing this to a battle sister with a Melta gun. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. Yeah, and just in straight points wise. Okay.
Straight
Just
offensive
straight
output.
points.
Now remind
13,
me-
13.
Does the Sister Rapincia have to get within 6 inches to attack?
Well, it has to charge.
Does it have to get within 6 inches to attack?
Well, yeah.
That's
Has to
like
get
within
an
12
inch.
inches.
Right.
12 inches to charge.
Right,
It's a small board though.
Right. How much damage does it do?
A lot. Let's get to it. So a Penitent Eviscerator, range type melee.
Which, just to interject, is a really cool looking weapon.
Yeah, it's
It's
a
a-
giant.
It's a two-handed
chain
chain
sword.
sword, which is
Oh, yeah.
like,
Okay.
oh,
I've seen those.
yeah.
like even if you don't like what we're about to talk about for the model, it just looks
It's
so cool.
cool.
It's not like that in 40K. You can take full squads of
You can
repetitions.
take
can't you?
full squads.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's so
You
weird.
can take a full squad. Yeah. Okay. Strength times 2, so now it's strength 6.
Good.
AP minus 3. Okay.
Love it.
All right.
About it.
Damage 2.
Not bad.
Very nice.
All right, not bad. When resolving an attack roll with this weapon, subtract 1 from the hit roll.
Bad.
Ooh.
Okay.
Why?
Okay, but Sister Rapinchas have the Zealot rule, which is not to be confused with the Zealot specialism, although they can be a Zealot.
It will 100% be
Okay.
confused with the Zealot.
You can re-roll hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by a model with this ability in any battle round in which it charged or was charged.
All right,
so you're hitting on 4s, re-rolling.
And you can make them a zealot.
Hold on.
You can make them a Zealot, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Can you make them a combat specialist?
Let me see this.
Yes, they can be a leader, a combat, a veteran, a Zealot.
Okay, so Zealot is the prime choice for that guy in the sense that you are hoping what you charge you kill.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's hitting normally on 3s, but
Threes,
now
but
4s
now it's
because
4s.
that's the only weapon you can take.
Mm-hmm.
You get 2 attacks.
You get 2 attacks.
With the Zealot, you get a third attack.
You get third. Or combat, always
You go to
third.
strength. Is it double?
It's strength 3, and then the eviscerator is
Plus
times
2?
2. Times 2. Times 2. So it's strength 6.
The plus occurs after the multiplier.
So actually, let's take a trip down the winding road of rules adjudication. This is a constant point of debate. In the 40K community. I'm going to make it as interesting as I can. Okay. Common sense would tell you yes. The +1 strength would be occurring before the multiplication of the weapon because she's strength 3 and she's a zealot. And that would make her strength 4.
Yeah, but that's not
and
what
if
I
she's
said.
punching with her fist, then she'd be strength 4.
Not what I said.
But the weapon is times 2. So does the times 2 take place before the +1?
Matt.
So would it be a strength 8 eviscerator or a strength 7?
So in
eviscerator
normal
is what you're talking about.
mathematics operations,
Yes.
you do the multiplication before the plus.
Right.
And you know how I know that? Because a nun probably beat that into me with a ruler.
With a giant chainsaw.
Yeah, with a giant chainsword in my days of Catholic school.
But the
So-
Did you actually go to Catholic
I
school?
did actually go to Catholic school.
Oh,
Me too.
did you
Yeah,
actually
I-
get your knuckles wrapped
There
by
was
a nun
there
with
was
a yardstick?
specifically one time where it did happen.
You ever see Matilda?
Yeah.
I was Matilda.
Yeah. I was there. I was the chokey. So
How many people do you think are actually going to get any of these references?
no one.
Zero.
Some,
All
some
right.
will.
so I
Yo, Mrs. Trunchbull fans, hit me up.
Hey,
yo. So I think
What was that hand sign?
it.
we're going to have to edit that out for
Are you throwing
Aggressive.
up gang signs in
Yeah.
here now?
East. Is that East
This
side?
is Sigma side. This is-
Jesus
Is
Christ,
that-
dude.
yeah.
it needs to be a little more curvy.
yeah.
Can you get
Yeah.
your?
Well, we were talking about sororities, so I was throwing up
okay.
the Greek
Okay.
alphabet.
I don't know. I feel
Anyway, the zealot, it says add 1 to the strength characteristic of the model,
Yes.
right? So the
Yeah.
strength characteristic, you're looking at it as 3. Okay, now that becomes,
Now it becomes
4,
4.
and then I apply the thing because I'm swinging with that weapon.
Yes.
That's how I do it.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Common sense would tell you that. Yes, but
But
in
you're wrong.
But
in
you're wrong.
other FAQs,
Uh-huh.
not necessarily kill team FAQs, but in other FAQs, they've said with a bunch of modifiers, you multiply first and then
Really?
put the,
So
put
this
the
is-
1 on. So it could,
And-
but
gang.
they use the example of psychic powers on weapons and
Yeah.
things like that.
Now-
So it's still technically, if you
It's up
wanna,
in the
like,
air.
read it verbatim, it's a little unclear about what it is. I would advocate yes for that. A zealot Rapincha would be strength 8.
Right.
So again, it's something you want to talk to with your opponent.
Absolutely, yeah.
Figure
talk
that
about it
out,
before
or
you
if
get
you're
in
at
combat.
a tournament, ask
With
the
your
TO.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Now
significant
here's
other.
the clutch, right? If they tell you yes, you add it before you multiply it. That's strength 8.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
value, and that is worth taking the zealot roll. My opinion, if it's not that way, if it's the other way around, and it's strength 7 is the maximum,
Mhm.
better off with combat. I think.
I agree.
Because you always
I
have
agree.
that extra attack. You're not
Yeah.
required to charge.
Yeah.
Because the only other benefit you're getting from being a zealot and charging is that +1 strength.
Well,
If it-
with zealot,
Yeah.
but sorry, I already just confused the
Yeah.
zealot rule.
So I'm
and
talking about with the
zealot
zealot
specialism. There you go.
specialist is what I'm specifically talking about here. In that situation, you're better off taking the combat specialist.
Yeah, because you're
Um,
auto +1.
You're
attacks.
auto +1 all the time.
Also, I would actually argue for the Sister Rapincha being the combat, if you're going to do a melee focused, being a combat specialist because of the next unit we're
Yeah,
going to talk about.
which would be a better
Which we'll
zealot.
get into just a second.
I think just taking a little flip through there and looking at the Repentia Superior, it's got to be a misprint because the Repentia Superior says max 1. I don't think they're.
So the Repentia Superior is a
HQ.
commander.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be like another.
So here's where you rewind to the
No.
beginning of the video where we told you that Tim hasn't read anything
I
about
haven't read anything.
Sisters
That's
Battle.
We have it on film, folks.
Yeah. It's,
Okay. Well, yeah.
Okay.
I still think
So
it's weird that
so
there's just
here's
a
here's
can't
a,
save that
before
moment.
before we pass final judgment on the Repentia, because I actually think a Repentia still has a place in
my
the kill
thumb
team.
is here, Matt.
Okay.
And I
First
need an
off,
answer.
Solace and Anguish. Each time a model with this ability loses a wound, roll a d6. On a 5-up, the model does not lose that wound. So
it's a feel.
now
yeah,
you're
okay, that's
talking
pretty good.
about
Going
you're
up?
talking about a 5-up invuln and a 5-up feel no pain.
5-up invuln.
if you're within the simulacrum.
Eh.
Okay. But it's a
5-up
one
invuln,
wound
5-up
model,
field no
Matt.
pain.
Sell me more.
Okay, now you've got one command point.
It gives you $5 when you start the game.
Ooh. One command point for eviscerating blow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this wetting your palates a bit?
Not really. So let's
Use
get
this
into combat.
tactic when you pick a Sister Repentia to attack in the fight phase. Change the damage characteristic of that model's Penitent Eviscerator to 3 until the end of the phase.
Blink. Could've done a
Blink
split
dot.
Yeah.
Another technical
So
difficulty
now-
sign pops up.
So now, let's say we are rolling with that Zealot Repentia, and we have said that it's going to be Strength 8. So you've got
So-
a Zealot Repentia. It's charged. 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, re-rolling. Also, I want to point out, I'm surprised neither of you asked for further clarification, just in case you were wondering. Zealot says you can re-roll hit rolls,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
re-roll failed hit rolls.
No, I had a feeling that was the case.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So just for the
Because
viewer,
the -1 for the
because the minus
thing.
1 does
Yeah,
mess
yeah.
up. Yeah. So
So-
it's hitting on 4s, re-rolling, and if you do want to get really spicy and you have spent the CP for the Zealot Specialism exploding 6s, you could be like, well, I hit on a 4, but I can re-roll it and try to fish for a 6.
So let's say you spent the 2 CP.
Yeah.
You spend it for the Zealot
Strength 8,
Specialism, exploding
AP
6s.
minus 3, damage 3.
You spent it.
Ooh.
You're
It's
assuming
gone.
Spin.
It's
you're,
gone.
You don't have
it's-
it anymore.
You never had it. It was spent from the moment you played the model.
You spent it.
Yeah.
Then you spend the second CP.
Uh-huh.
Gone.
Yes.
It's gone.
Why even have CP
Yeah.
Yeah.
to do what we're about to
No
do?
sense
you'll
crying
get-
over spilled
you'll
milk.
get 2 more.
Yeah. Well, eventually. And that gives
Assuming
you
your
and that
leader
gives
is on
you
the field.
that gives you damage 3. So now total stat line,
Yeah.
assuming you charged,
Yes.
3 attacks.
3 attacks.
Bang.
Strength 8
Boom.
if you have a gracious host.
Love it.
AP minus 3.
AP
Yes.
minus 3.
Damage
great.
damage 3.
Damage 3.
That's awesome.
That's
you're
good.
wounding. You're hitting on 4s.
You're hitting on 4s.
Yeah.
It's not a big
Re-roll.
deal.
So real quick,
You ever flipped a coin before?
You roll. you roll 3. You roll 3 dice.
That one got me.
You roll 3 dice. You take, let's say, one of them away. That's being gracious. One dice falls
That's
off.
gracious.
I actually don't know what the math is on that.
No, so 3 dice
4
hitting
up
on
re-rolling.
4s.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, hold on,
two
hold
hit
on.
is pretty
You
standard.
re-roll that one that failed. It fails again.
I
right?
don't know what the math is on that. I think all 3
Odds are
hit all day.
I mean, look,
Holy,
I've played
I'm
a
gonna
lot
get
of-
through this scenario if God Emperor himself wills it. You get 2 hits.
I just want to interrupt. I just laughed. And
You
hit
got a
my
wound
teeth.
on 2s. You hit 3. You hit twice. You wound on 2s. If you don't get both wounds, I feel bad for you, son.
You got
I
an
got
eviscerator.
99 problems, but you
But
only got
hitting-
one
but-
Sister's Repentia.
Cut the video. I don't want to get sued by Jay-Z.
Okay, what got me there was I love those slants in songs and poems where it's like the rhyme is only halfway through the sentence. So it's like you only got one.
Those are the best.
Sister Repentia.
Those are the best. Those are the best rhymes when you
Or-
when you completely ruin the rhyme with more words.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it's a quote, so it's you got 99 problems, but you only got one, and Sister Repentia said that.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
remember
So
I
back
was so dumb when I was
boy.
a kid. Here's a little interjection. We were trying to do
a little interjection.
we were trying to do haikus when we were first learning them. And they're like
Good snort there.
they're
buddy.
like, all right, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables again. I remember I was trying to write it for the longest time. I couldn't come up with a sentence that was 5 syllables long. I was like, surely this has got to be it. And it was like 6 or like 8 or something.
That's 8, man.
Beautiful, superfluous. Oh, damn it.
on Mount Fuji.
Yeah,
it's
on
snowing on
Mount
Mount
Fuji.
Fuji.
Oh, yeah.
So
Anyway.
again, you hit twice. You should wound twice. odds are, unless they have some kind of invuln,
They're failing
they're
that save.
they're failing
If they even
they're
get a
failing
save.
they're failing one save if they get a save. That should be an out of action, assuming you now.
And if you still have a CP because you squirreled one away and you can re-roll the damage or the
And
injury
that's-
roll.
And you know me. You know me at this point.
You
guys.
love
I
the
love
tactical
I
reroll.
love that tactical reroll for that out of action because that's where it counts. But
It's big.
so it's a big.
Some of us like really fun and fluffy
No,
tactics.
it's not
And
fun.
some of us just like the gamey.
That's not kill team.
Reroll.
Murdering.
Not kill team. When I can blow the head off a officer, that's a good time in my book.
Especially when you re-roll the damage roll. Am I right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
This is where you flash back and it's that scene there, and yeah. So
We've all done it. Don't
it's-
pretend like
it's
you're over there
too-
commenting like you haven't re-rolled a damage roll.
so that's 2 CP
Right.
investment to
Or
make
11. That's
to
how
make
math
this thing as killy as a plasma gun.
yeah. But assuming that it's made it in, it must be dealt with. If
You're-
it's in your
you're-
lines,
you're right. That's one
like,
more-
No matter what, a sister or pincha in your lines, that's a problem.
Yeah,
you
but
got to deal with
that's
that.
one more hoop they have to go through. You got to make that charge roll. Now,
Yeah, but
does
again,
this,
it
does this
can
get any
be-
kind of reroll charges?
No, it doesn't get reroll charges.
No, that's
But,
a bit of a problem.
It does, but I mean, you have the tactical reroll where you can just reroll your charge for a CP.
But not if you want to do this setup because that requires
Yeah,
2
yeah. Well,
CP, my man.
unless you've squirreled away a CP from a.
So
previous
now we're
round.
talking 3 CP to make a
You
13-point model.
You don't need
worth
3 CP. Okay,
while.
you guys, you're pretending, or I should say, you guys, you Nick are pretending like
Tim has my back.
like a sister Rapincha on its own can't actually walk up the board using like line of sight blocking terrain and then eventually charge something. Like you can do that again, much like I was saying with the Meltagun, finesse with a T3 5 up. Like
You're playing a witch.
yeah, I mean it's
Actually,
it's
a little
not
bit beefier.
it's not easy to make a Rapincha work, and sure
But
you
you can
do
only-
have to do an investment, but it's not
but you
like
can only
it
take the
has
one.
no place in the kill
and
team.
I think that's the big flaw that I've come to realize. I think all of us at this point have played some kind of melee based kill team on the channel in some
Yes.
degree.
Some
if
amount,
you're
yeah.
if you're using witches, you don't want to take just one, right? You want to take multiple because that way
Yeah.
you spread out the threats.
Yes, here's
You're
the
not-
big misstep.
And this
yeah.
is this is the misstep that is again, if you want to make this one
Max
model
one.
max 1 viable, you have to spend that CP, and you're going to
Yeah.
because it's your only
Because it's your only
one of
Rapincha.
them.
Yeah.
So you got to get that value out of that, right? Like you
Yeah.
in your head, I've paid for this one model. I can only take the one of them. I got to make it worth my while.
Also, I want to point out the sister Rapincha. Two other big missteps about why this is max 1. Okay. Or let me just start with one. The big misstep, lore. Do you know about the lore of the sister Rapincha?
Of course, Tim.
Do
knows
you know about the
lore
lore
of
of
the
Sister
Sister
Rapincha?
Rapincha?
Yeah.
But you should
I wrote a
explain
book
it.
report on
But
it.
you should explain it so
Yeah.
that the rest of them know.
Yeah. We'll wait.
They're sisters that are repenting.
For what?
What are they repenting for?
Sins,
What kind of sins?
heresy.
What
I'm
kind
close.
of
You
heresy?
know, you're close. Yeah. Okay. So
What's-
basically, the sister Rapincha is a sister who like lost their faith,
Okay.
but are now looking to,
it's-
or perhaps being forced into repenting
you-
for that faith. Hence, why they have a 7-up save because they don't have any armor.
Do you
They're
know
sent
why?
into battle with this eviscerator with butt kiss.
Do you know why they lost their faith?
Tell us, Nick. We'll wait.
They were never given a holy bayonet like the loyal guardsmen.
Yes, of course.
You can't lose your faith with one of those.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But okay, so yeah, it kind of
So, and this is what I mean about the lore now. You're going to tell me that a kill team full of Rapincha, like their goal is not to break into enemy lines and complete this cool objective and like sabotage an enemy position. Their job is to get deep in enemy lines, cause as much havoc
and die.
before they're martyred for the Emperor. Come on. Come on.
And to
let
put
me
it in
play a
perspective,
kill team
Tim,
of Rapincha.
how many incubi can you take in a list?
as many as the points would allow.
There's no limitation to the, and an incubi you would argue has the same general stat line and roll,
It's
even
around.
damage
It's
profile,
around there, yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
damage 2 for the ones-
damage 1 unless you roll a
six.
6 and it's 3.
right.
Yeah.
So it can pump out the same amount of hurt because AP
Yeah.
minus 3, strength 4, right? Or is
Right.
it more than that?
AP strength 4, AP minus 3.
Right.
Yeah.
So think about the utility of having a wave of those versus just one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And that's like I said, the big misstep there. Sister Rapincha, you can only take one.
Yeah.
Man, like
Well,
so close.
But
Almost there.
the whole thing is you can take them with the
Her.
dudes on the next page, right? The Arcoflagellants.
You can take them alongside Arcoflagellants, yes, which we'll get back into after take a short break. All right, guys, we're back. We are now talking about Arcoflagellants, which let's have a good chuckle at flagellant.
Ooh. Flagella. Am I right?
They help things move.
They do.
Except these.
So these are the guys that are like they were bad dudes and they wronged somebody.
They are,
and they became like, all right, we're gonna take your arms away and they're whips now.
It's essentially
they're whips now. They've been like lobotomized.
They are a servitor that is thrown into
and
the
roided
melee
up.
combat.
Yeah, like roided up. So they just like
just like that.
I like it.
That's gonna be the sound that I make every time I charge with an Arcoflagellant.
Like a weird octopus man.
Before we even jump into it, did they get a new model?
Yeah.
Sweet.
So just for you, the viewer, to know, I actually picked up the Sisters of Battle box set that they released with the limited edition because I am a man with no willpower.
Yay.
Which I am evidencing by the fact that I'm not buying anything else until I clear my current backlog. Ooh.
Makes me feel so good that someone else in our group has jumped into 3 armies. Because I thought I was the only one.
So, Arcoflagellant, all right?
3.
Now, there are... You have 3?
I have like 2 when I get started.
Of...
My Azuriani.
Of your what?
Azuriani coming 2021, guys.
Your ass Urani?
2021, what's your Azuriani?
What's gonna
Woo.
Cut that out.
Talk about the Arcoflagellants.
No, actually, if you know that, please comment. Please comment
Don't
if
do
you
it.
recognize what I was just
You'll get a
doing there.
$100 Amazon gift card.
You will get 20
You get a
internet
text
points.
message.
You
You
just
get
said
20
it.
20 internet points, and I will film me rubbing it in Tim's face.
That
Okay.
is possible.
That's fine.
Okay, Arcoflagellant. First off, max unlimited. You can take as many as you want.
That's
okay?
nice.
How many points?
Endurant 1. So Endurant is their
Sergeant?
sergeant.
They have a sergeant variant?
Yeah, the Endurant. He endures.
That's kind of weird.
Okay. Excuse me as I flip through this.
Oh, you're
Here we
looking at
go.
the point value. I was like, what
Yeah.
are you doing?
They're here somewhere. Okay. Not like there's that many. An Arcoflagellant 13. Okay, so we're like floating right around 13.
They're the
for
same
all
cost
of our,
as the Repentia?
as a Repentia. Same cost as a Repentia. Same cost as like a Melta sister gunner. So we're all floating right around 13 for our special guys. And then an Endurant, which is the sergeant, is 14. Okay, stat line up on the screen now. Movement 7, weapon skill 4 up, ballistic skill dash, strength 4, toughness 3, wounds 2,
Okay.
attacks 2, and this is again the Endurant, which is the
Right.
sergeant, 3 attacks.
Yeah.
Leadership 7,
Oof.
save 7+.
Right.
So no save.
Nude.
Do they have a backup?
Okay. They do not have Shield of Faith.
So
they
they
do
get 0
not-
save period.
Yeah, they do not have an invuln. They
You
do not
wound
have
them and they die.
Yeah.
No,
you wound,
they have 2 wounds.
You wound and
You wound,
yeah,
you wound an Endurant and they don't die.
yeah, you
wound
take
an
2 wounds from
Arcoflagellant
them.
and they
Boom.
did.
Yeah. All right. They're armed with an Arco
injury
flail
roll.
and then 1 Arcoflagellant can be an Endurant. They also have Zealot, so they reroll hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by
This
a
is
model with this ability.
the
blah, blah, blah,
ability
blah.
zealot.
Arco flails is still 0 points as well. So just 13 and then 14 for the Endurant, which I think the Endurant, you better use that max 1. You better use them. Okay.
I
Then
mean,
they have
and this is, guys, this is usually the case for any list.
yeah for any
If the sergeant variant costs the same amount of points,
he's
as-
1 point
is he
more.
1 point more?
1 point more for an extra attack, which
if
is like
if you
gotta
have
do
that
it.
spare point and you haven't taken the sergeant, it's usually worth it every single time.
Yeah. The only reason you're not is if you are like really scraping to like squeeze stuff
Yeah, you
in.
gotta get that point in.
So they have Zealot, so they reroll hits, not failed hits, hits. Cool. And then they have Berserk Killing Machine. Each time a model with this ability loses a wound, roll a d6 on a 5-up. That model does not lose a wound, so they get a 5-up. Feel no
Well,
pain
now
as
wait
well.
a minute, Matt. I asked you if they had any other backup save, and you said no.
I said they don't have an invuln, so they don't have a Shield of Faith.
I feel cheated.
Because you could say that the Shield of Faith, which is not listed under the save category,
That's
is.
not what I was saying. I just asked for a
is on-
backup save.
So, all right, so they do. So no save, and they just immediately
Take their,
go to 5-up.
yeah.
Okay.
So-
So again, if we're comparing Arcoflagellant to Repentia, if at worst 6-up invuln backed by a 5-up feel no pain on a T3 1 wound model, or 2 wounds T3 with the 5-up
Feel no-
5-up feel no
pain.
pain. Yeah.
and you need to account for the fact that the Repentia can also have the 5-up invuln.
Yeah, can't have the 5
If you have the appropriate
So
simulacrum.
in theory, the Repentia is a little more.
I
Barely, yeah.
I disagree.
Barely. It's. I mean, I'm in a just in a no in a raw mathematic sense. The
Repentia.
the
Yeah, it gets a
Repentia
save.
is
yeah.
more. She gets a whole save that the Arcoflagellant does not. That's she's mathematically
That's true.
superior.
That's true. You're not
to
cutting out
mention-
dice.
Not to mention that any multi-damage weapon is wasted on the Repentia, where it gains value on the Flagellant.
That's true.
So the Repentia
Now-
is flat more durable.
Now follow up.
Yes.
What is the size difference of the two models? Could you hide or assist a
I think
Repentia
the
better?
Flagellant is more out, but the Repentia
Is
is more
vertical.
up
So-
because of the Eviscerator. So
Typically, you could probably
depending on what you're
hide
doing. Yeah,
the
depending on
Flagellant better.
yes, yeah. In
'Cause
terms
there's
of
more
height,
low
yeah.
level terrain than there is.
Yeah, yeah. In terms of height, yes. But if you're looking for if the height is not a concern, then the girl. Okay. Specialists, Zealot. The end.
That's it.
It's the
Good.
only. That's why I was saying, in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
the Repentia is better as a combat or veteran or something.
Right. You still can take the Zealot.
I think you're always taking an Endurant or
Yeah.
an Arcoflagellant or some combination
As the
thereof.
Zealot.
And you might as well make them a Zealot if you're taking them.
Because that +1 strength brings them to what?
They are strength 4. So
So they go
then-
strength
So they
5.
go to strength 5.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I think
strength
they're
5 is really
overcosted.
nice. So, well, that's because you haven't heard Arco Flails.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Okay, Arco Flails. You ready for this? Y'all ready for this?
Matty Ice.
Arco Flails.
Like, I wonder what else
Melee.
is on YouTube. What are these in these suggested videos on
Oh,
the right?
Is that a
I'm not
that's a
watching
let's
that.
play? Yeah, I can probably
All
find
right.
that.
Strength for the Arco Flails +1. So they're already strength 5 with Arco Flails.
That's
Okay,
pretty
yeah,
good.
And
because
then
they're
a
base
Zealot
4.
makes
Yeah.
them strength 6.
That's super good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
So now against any
I still think they're a
T3
little
What
pricey.
up,
Looney
elves?
Tunes. AP -1. Damage 1.
Already good. All of that's good. I love it. Except for the damage one. But
Yeah, it's okay. Make D3 hit rolls for each attack made with this weapon
okay.
instead of 1.
what?
So let's just walk this back, okay? An Arcoflagellant, 2 attacks. So that's 2d3 attacks from him.
pretty
At
good.
strength 5 minimum. This is not a specialist. Strength
Average.
5, AP -1, damage 1.
4 attacks.
An Endurant has got 3 attacks. So 3d3, strength 5, AP -1,
that's
damage
pretty
1
good.
attacks. Then if you and by the way, they're hitting on 4s and they're re-rolling. Now you make them a Zealot, so now you're rocking with an Arcoflagellant 3 attacks or an Endurant 4 attacks, 4d3, strength 6, AP -1, damage 1
Now,
attacks.
Matt, same deal
Hitting on
here
4s re-rolling.
with the zealot.
Yeah, that's
Does-
the CP
does
to
that
like bump them
extra,
up.
Does that extra attack become the extra D3, or is it after the fact?
Yes, because
It's the weapon you're attacking.
it says, yeah, the Arcoflails is make D3 hit rolls for each attack made
Gotcha.
with this weapon instead of 1. Which also, I just noticed a typo. It's make D3 hit rolls for each attack AMDE. AMDE.
Unplayable. Throw this book
AMDE.
away.
Amde.
AMDE. It sounds like that's like a tribalistic like greeting. AMDE. AMDE.
We should cut all of this out. We're very white.
Did you just start playing? Are you ready
Yes.
for this on like a djembe?
Jesus Christ.
AMDE.
And now for our
Definitely-
lowest viewed video
I'm
due
definitely-
to racial
Someone's-
insensitivity.
Someone's just like shutting down all the circuit breakers in their house right now. Make it stop.
What else is on YouTube?
Yeah.
They pull up like the giant, like massive one.
All right, yeah. So, like we said, 3 attacks for the Endurant, 4 with Zealot, 4d3, and then if you do spend 1 CP for the Zealot tactic, and then now your 6s are exploding and creating additional attacks,
Yeah, that's good.
It's unnecessary.
which
unnecessary.
depending on how you interpret it, each attack then would be D3,
D3
more.
extra. Yeah.
You treat it like you would Tesla, right?
No, because
No,
it's
no,
attacks. It's not hits.
The Zealot tactic. So when you an unmodified roll of a 6, or it's not unmodified, it's just 6+. When you do a 6+ to hit, you get an extra attack. And you have to roll that attack. And then because you're attacking with Arco Flails, then it would become D3 more attacks?
Yeah. I think actually hearing all that, they probably are.
Is it unnecessary? Yeah.
So here's the trade, right? Better than Sister Repentia, most likely.
In most scenarios, I think so.
Better with Sister Repentia. Yes.
That's like a meme level. Like
better on.
Took too long. Took too long.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
lost
not
it.
riding
You
on
lost it. You lost
Not good.
Okay,
Rewind it.
But here's
no,
where. No, go ahead. Do your thing, man. Do your thing.
It's
all right. Here's
it's the Splinter Cannon effect, right? It's gonna whittle down a multi-wound model to 0, which is what you want it to do. That's what you should be aiming that at. Is something with a lot of wounds.
Yeah.
Because no matter what happens, your injury roll is always going to be 1 damage.
Yeah.
So you may not kill it, you may not bring it out of action with your injury roll, but you can guarantee that model being multi-wound is going to be reduced to nothing.
Yes.
So that's where those, the 6, what was it, 3d6 or 3d3, 3d3 or 43 depending on the zealot. Yeah. So as you keep adding those D3 hits, at a certain point it becomes superfluous, right?
Yeah.
Like they cannot make that many saves unless they're a Custodes model with a lot of great backup.
This is where, you're thinking in just a one-on-one, but what happens when you're an Arco-Flagellant, you charge and then you get mobbed by someone else. And now you've got, now you don't have a gun.
I do.
Actually, I just want to point out is like a weird thing. The Sisters Repentia does not have a gun, but she has a ballistic skill. Mm-hmm. The Arco-Flagellant does not have a gun.
Same thing with
they just dash.
Incubi.
They've done that with certain models.
Yeah.
Weird. But so what happens now? Your Arco-Flagellant.
Throw your sword.
Gun hat.
You've been charged by a couple other things. Now you've got like 3 models. Suddenly being able to go, you know what?
D3, D3, D3.
D3, D3, D3. Yeah, that's big.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, and again, hitting on 4s rerolling. So you can, the Arco-Flagellant can walk in and just blender through multiple models.
And there's no limit.
There's no limit. You can have a bunch of them.
So a very popular list that has surfaced on the internet is actually Arco-Flagellant Splam.
Splam. That's what they say. They're like, splam. Splam.
Squand.
That's that stuff that's like it's sand in the water. And land.
It's the knockoff of that where you're like, I asked for
squand and you got me splam.
We already have squand at home, honey.
Squand
Splam.
The spam list is real.
Yeah.
However,
it exists.
How many all melee lists in Kill Team have you seen really rock the board? Matt?
Not a lot. Not a lot.
As it echoes throughout the wind.
I haven't really kept up with
through your ears as that wonderful thought. If you're like, man, I can make an all melee list. That wind of none just rolls right through
that's
your ears.
because you want, like almost with everything, you want a balance. You want answers for each thing. You don't want an all melee list that can't shoot a single shot because you're going to be like, I'll just get hard countered because I have no other answer.
Yeah.
Now they do have a 1 CP tactic for the Arco-Flagellant. Yeah.
Wow.
Called Frenzied Thrashing. Use this tactic when you pick an Arco-Flagellant model from your kill team to make attacks in the fight phase. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic of this model for each enemy model within 1 inch of it when it is selected to fight until the end of the phase.
Well, wait a minute. That's pretty good.
Now hold on a second, Pard. You're going to scroll right past without saying that's
howdy.
pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty
That's. I would prefer that be a combat specialist and then use that and charge it.
Except that you can't be a combat.
Well,
specialist.
why
You
is
can only
this
be a
game
zealot.
so unfair?
Unbelievable? So
literally unplayable.
That's going to be your trade-off, right? What do you value more in this setup? Because finding that middle ground where you're bringing maybe 2 Arco-Flagellants, 3, maybe 2 in an Endurant, which would be the ideal scenario.
Yeah.
Or an Endurant Sister Repentia and an Arco-Flagellant for the 3 melee punch, and then the rest are just some amount of basic bolters and maybe a gunner, something in there. you gotta weigh out those points values, right?
Yeah.
Your 100 points is your base, unless you're going to be playing at a higher points total with friends or in an event or something like that.
But yeah, even if you're going to 125,
Really can't fit that much more
you're
in.
not going to be unless you're going to like flood more arcoflagellants, you're
Right.
not going to be doing much because again you're restricted to 2 gunners on the sisters, you're restricted to 1 Repentia, you're restricted to 1 endurant,
Well-
and then so unless you're either going to be putting more battle sisters on the
Right.
field or more arcoflagellants on the field, but you're not going to have much flex outside.
From
of
my
that.
understanding, the competitive, or at least what's theorized to be competitive, because there really hasn't been much opportunity to practice with them yet. Sisters list that would be a melee list would be the Sister Superior with a combi plasma.
Yeah,
You gotta have that.
yeah.
You take an endurant, and then you take the rest as arcoflagellants, which would net you. What's the Sister Superior with a combi plasma points wise?
So Sister
4 points for a
Superior
combi plasma?
is 10, I think, and then Sister Superior is 10, and a combi plas is 4. So
That's
14.
what I thought. Yeah, so 14.
For the
So on
Superior.
par with the endurance. So that's 28 for the 2 of
28.
those.
And
That
then
leaves you with
multiples of
another
13 going up.
Right. So if you take 5 arcoflagellants, that's
65.
65. Yeah. Tacked on to your 28.
Yeah, you got still room for.
You got room for
sister
maybe another
gunners.
upgrade somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So that would be a list. Is it a good list?
It's fun, that's for sure. There's no question about that.
I think it's
Yeah.
going to be fun, but you got to prepare for your matchup, right? Against 4 frag cannons. And,
Yeah, it's not gonna be
and
fun.
And an intercessor sergeant. Not a good time.
Yeah.
Not a
No.
good time.
No.
So
But that's why I think maybe the true optimal. I mean, people when they're theory crafting these lists, like right, they focus on the like.
they pick the best
Here's
thing
the
and spam
optimal, right? Yeah, and then you spam. But I think really, again, if you look at, we talked about like Battle Sisters, you're tough 3, sure you're 3-up save, you get the 5-up inbound. You're still not that durable, right? Because even a bolter is threatening to you because it's gonna be wounding on 3s. So it's about finesse. It's about making these T3 models work for you. Sister Repentia, same thing. Make it work for you because you got to get it in, and it's going to be difficult, and it's going to be an investment to get in. Arcoflagellant, even the same thing because you got that 7-up save, so you're only relying on a 5-up. Feel no pain. I feel like it's much more like I need to have these varied, like threatening things in a different way, and then vary them and make it so you go, I'm not, when your opponent looks at your list, they go, I'm not sure
What to
target first.
Right.
Yeah, and
cause a decision
It
fatigue
seems like
that
the
way.
Army's pretty good at doing that.
yeah.
after seeing
In
all
my
that.
eyes, they fill the AdMech niche. I would build their list the same way I would build an AdMech list, which is have 2 to 3 range threats, toss in 1 to 2 melee threats, have your leader in there that's going to be a backline ranged guy who's maybe has a buff of some kind, and then whatever can fill is chaff. And that chaff is there to capture objectives while your main threats flood the board in different directions.
Yeah.
That would be the ideal scenario, and I think Sisters can do that very well because they have that very effective chaff. A 9-point Battle Sister is fantastic value.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So-
yeah. Especially.
With a bolter.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
with a bolter, and if you're just sitting like, here's a backfield objective that I just need to hold, and then I just need to maybe just throw a plink here and there downfield,
It's still a strength 4 shot.
Yeah. So outside of commanders, which again we haven't made a point to go over commanders. We'll probably do commanders at a later time. There's the Canoness. There's Repentia Superior. Canoness buffs your Battle Sisters. Repentia Superior buffs your Repentia, which again
Your
you
lone
can only
Repentia.
have
But
one.
it's going to take the one.
So-
So
Buddy.
why? Yeah.
It's questionable. We're not going to go over them too deep. Just suffice to say that they're still relatively cheap because they're sisters comparative to other commander investments. For example,
Tell me about a Broodlord.
a Canoness is 40 points.
Broodlord's 110.
Yeah, exactly. So and then a Repentia Superior at level 1 is 30 points. So you're not paying big money for the models here.
Yeah.
We're not going to go over them just because we haven't made a point to go over commanders for anyone else, and we'll go over them when we break into commanders on the channel here, which will be coming soon later this year. So there you go. Boom. So
But-
just to go ahead.
Oh, they do have access to some of the generalized Imperium rogue traders.
Yes,
from
yes.
Blackstone Fortress.
Yes, and that's across all sort of
Yeah.
Imperium and everything
So
like
you-
that, which we'll have to.
Yeah, you can get cheeky and fill out a little
Yeah,
list of one
yeah.
of those. I think we do need to get some of those.
Yeah, we'll have to look into
Yeah.
that. So and then only other tactics to go over because we've already kind of touched on
Yes.
Blessed Bolts, Eviscerating Blow, Frenzied Thrashing, Burn the Heretic. Use this tactic when you pick an Adeptus Sororitas model from your kill team to shoot with a flamer. Important to note, not a heavy flamer.
No, it
With a
specifies
flamer.
anything, and it's not a keyword flamer. It's flamer.
It was flamer. That's true. You can re-roll the dice to determine the number of attacks made by this model's flamer until the end of the phase. 1 CP. I actually really like this.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of factions have something like this. For example,
flamers and
Orcs
stuff.
got
yeah,
that.
yeah, it kind of buffs your flamer. Yeah, the orcs, the Burna goes from D3 to D6. Thousand Suns have a roll 2d6
take
and
the
pick
highest.
the highest. I kind of like this one better than either one of those though, because it's like roll a d6. If you don't like it, re-roll. So if you roll like a 4, you're like, you know what, I'm happy with a 4.
Yeah.
4 is good. I'll leave it. But if you roll a 1, you're like, okay, I can re-roll.
It's reactionary, which is
Yeah. Well,
surprisingly.
you have to spend it before you roll
Oh, you
the
do?
number of shots. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, it's when you pick the model to shoot. So you go, you're like, I'm going to pick this flamer to shoot or
Yeah.
heavy flamer. I'll roll a d6 and I'll spend the command point. Now I'll roll, and if I don't like the result, I can re-roll it.
Yeah.
And
So, you know,
useful.
It's not bad.
It's 1
It's
CP.
not bad.
It's
Yeah,
there
I
for
would
that
like it
moment.
more if it was like you do your roll. I don't like that 1 CP reroll.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of that in Kill Team though.
Yeah.
funnily
No,
enough.
no, they've
not
made
very
a,
little
a
reactionary.
point to not do too many of that. The
Um,
other two tactics here, one is for a Canoness, one is for a Repentance Superior, which we're kicking that can down the road for a
Right.
later talk about
You,
commanders.
you get 4 tactics for non-commander based
Yeah.
Sisters of Battle, which
Yeah.
is on par with the majority of factions that didn't get a battle box
Yeah.
set.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
So fair.
Yeah, and
Um,
then that's it. That's
Yeah.
everything Sisters of Battle,
Cool.
which is where we get into the sort of thoughts on Sisters. At first blush, right? We've done a successful job of filming your sort of first hearing of them. I'll pass this over to here so you can like look at it more in depth if you want to talk
We're
about
gonna
it.
stare at you and
What's
drink while you
like
while
what's
you
your
read
what's
that
your
book.
first sort of reaction to them, right?
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be
so
his first at this point.
yeah, I mean, I think kind of like what Nick said. They strike a good in between where you can bring a decent number of bodies, but at the same time they're a little bit more durable because of the save. You know, if you start chalking in stuff with a lot of high AP, then you could have a problem. I mean, T3 is still going to hurt in a lot of situations, but you know, the 3-up armor is nice. I really like the Arcoflagellants. The whole thing with the Sister of Pencha being 1 is kind of weird to me,
Yeah.
but hopefully they can address that later. And
Well,
the
especially-
Stormbolter is sweet on the
Yeah.
Battle Sister. I like that a lot. I would take at least 1 with a heavy flamer probably, and I would
Yeah.
leave the Meltas at home
Yeah.
personally.
What do you think of their order convictions?
The Order convictions?
Mm-hmm. What do you think of them?
Oh, that's right.
You know, like
Yeah,
sept tenants or
yeah,
clan
what do you think of
cultures,
that, Tim?
or
Did we talk about this?
We
No,
totally
didn't.
did talk about this. Do you not
Yeah.
remember?
you don't want to take a quick flip through of the Adeptus Sororitas section and let us know what you think about the.
This is
Oh,
me. This is
They
me.
don't have any.
That's right.
yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer.
So
Yeah.
it is.
Why
a
did they
main-
not do that?
It's a huge bummer because
Mm.
it makes no sense why they don't have it because
Yeah,
the Codex has it.
Yeah, everyone has it now. Like every major faction outside of things like rogue traders, which are these specialist groups,
Yeah,
everyone
heroes.
has their sub faction traits, and this came out. Specifically, Kill Team Annual
Yeah.
came out right around the same time as the battle box for the Sisters, which included the Codex, which included order convictions. So why did they not
It makes
scale them
me-
down for Kill Team?
It makes me think they wrote this before they wrote the
Probably.
Codex,
Probably, right?
Yeah.
And so
which
it's
is
like-
unfortunate. It
yeah,
really
it's
is.
it's again like I feel, and I'll go ahead and reveal now my thoughts on Sisters. I think they're really cool. I obviously bought the box. I
End
want
of video.
the end. But I feel like a lot of small, subtle missteps are gonna hold them back and make them like a C tier Kill Team. at
Yeah, because
best.
no miracle dice.
Yeah.
No little trait things.
Yeah.
No, what you were talking about in the Codex, the not doctrines, but whatever they call for the
convictions.
convictions or whatever. None of those. So really, they don't get any special rules to play around with other than what's on the data sheet.
Which again, half of it is limited to your matchup.
Right.
Yeah. Right. You need to have psychers on the
really
table to make it worthwhile.
That they have a 6-up invuln.
Are they fluffy? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But actually, that's my big thing is like, are they fluffy? Yes, but they could be so much more flavorful if they had even just the miracle dice.
It might be just a matter of them getting the treatment that every other army has gotten when they first come into Kill Team with, which is here's the bog standard kind of way you run it. Let's see how it goes.
And then we'll
down the line. We'll flesh it out. We'll give you some more tactics. We'll give you some traits. Whatever.
This is my gripe: is that it is a bit of a shame because this is the first Kill Team manual to really include everything you kind of want.
Yeah, it includes extra armies even, and that's the thing. So
and now you got to get another thing if they add that later.
Yeah, so
that's
annoying. Here's the thing: is that a big part of what they were pushing with Kill Team Manual is they were like, it's going to include 3 new kill teams. One of those kill teams was Kroot, which was published in White Dwarf. Okay. 6 tactics.
We'll talk about that at some point.
3 data slates. Chaos Demons.
Good for
2,
them.
4,
they deserved it.
6 tactics and 4 data sheets.
I want to do a video.
Okay,
those guys are cool.
Yeah, and then Demons had also been published in White Dwarf.
Yeah.
So when they were like 3 new kill teams, it's like really 2 of them were already published. So Sisters of Battle was the actual like new like, hey, here's brand new rules never before seen until Kill Team Manual.
If you're wondering why
they just missed the mark.
If you're wondering why our view count is now plummeted, it's because GW has sacked this show.
Yeah. Thanks, GW.
It's a shame. Now, don't let it dissuade you. I think Kill Team, any of the factions are playable. It's still a dice game.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I could play Grey Knights versus your Custodes and just
win because of mortal wounds.
And just win because those mortal wounds just happen to connect every single time.
But also you could just absolutely fluff it.
Or I could do literally
perils
nothing.
Yourself, and kill yourself, and then you just walk right through them.
And he knocks out 3 of my models in a single turn. So it's still a dice game. If you've watched any of our battle reports, you've noticed that things don't always swing the way that the math dictates it should.
Yeah, would think.
So don't let some half-made rules, and I don't think half-made's not fair. Don't make some don't just because it's missing the chapter tactic equivalent. Don't let that dissuade you. They still have their key rule in the form of acts of faith. Yeah. And what was the secondary, or is that baked in the same?
Acts of faith.
2 abilities under the.
It's all acts of faith. Yeah.
So,
6-up invul and a denied.
So they're just a little vanilla right now.
Well, I mean,
they'll get that mint chocolate.
In the grandest sense, they have their special rules, acts of faith, and the other guys are their mercenary attachments, much like how Drukhari have the incubi or stuff like that. Yeah. So it's just the way you think about it, and I personally think they are. I dare to say they're the better guard equivalent. I think they fill a similar role as guard.
Are they better than guard?
They fill a similar role as guard, but here's the kicker.
Probably more consistent.
If you're gonna play all plasma guard, Sisters are worse because they can take up to 4 plasma, and then the Sarge can also take a plasma pistol.
Yeah,
5 plasma, very good. Reroll ones with Cadian Doctrine, pretty strong.
Very good. But again,
so
there's that doctrine.
That's that niche, right? But if you're just going for, and this you could fill out a kill team with a box of. Well, they haven't done that yet, have they?
It will have just released at the time of airing this video.
Just like stuff separate from the overall.
Yeah.
Big
so
box?
The Battle Sister box will have released. Good. They will not have released separate Repentia or separate Arcoflagellants at the time of release.
Why are they doing this?
So that means that the only way you've got Repentia or Arcoflagellants is that you bought the limited edition set like I did. Oof.
That is one thing, but we'll save it for this video. Is the fact that you can only get the Sisters Codex now in the
box. that will have released.
That will have released by then. Okay,
at the time of this video.
Man.
Yeah. So I don't want to sound too negative about them because obviously I got them. I'm building them. They're sitting on my painting table right now. And so they're going to be on the channel very, very soon. I'm excited about them. I am. But it's like one of those things of like you said, they're a little vanilla. If you want to compare them to everything else, it'd be like comparing the core rulebook kill teams only.
Yeah.
No elites expansion. And I guess actually you could then compare them also to commanders, but again, another conversation.
Yeah, weirdly enough, I would say they're a pretty good starter army.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that it's going to be
That it costs a
hard
lot of money
for the models
and
to
acquiring
get-
the models.
Yeah. Well,
So
I mean,
bearing
you can-
that, not a
again,
good starter model.
Rule-wise,
Yeah.
Again,
pretty good starter model.
and
starter
I'll
army.
make sure it's down in the description below. I'm confident that you can get 10 sisters on the field with 2 special weapons of some variety.
Sounds
2
right.
sisters gunners and a simulacrum and a sister superior.
Hit up-
10 models on the field. That would just be 1 box of
Yeah,
battle
hit it-
sisters and you're good to go.
Hit up eBay, and I'm sure you
So-
can find someone parting out the box.
Yeah. Well, again, by the time you're seeing this video,
Yeah.
the
It'll be
sisters
out.
are on the battle sister box is on the shelf.
perfect.
It's on the shelf.
Yeah, there you
so
go.
you can go out and get it right now. Repentia and flagellants, you probably have to hit up eBay if you want them. Like you've watched this video and you're like, these guys don't know what they're talking about. Sisters of Battle are awesome.
That was a quote by Matty Ice.
Matty Ice.
And
One
we're going to
Amday
give
to send us off.
one little Amday to send us off.
Amday.
See you next time.